Okay, in this video we're going to be learning about circles and more specifically the equation of a circle. So first off, make sure that we need to make sure we understand this equation and have this equation in your notes. This is the formula we're going to be using in this lesson. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals your r squared. Now when you're doing this, when you're writing an equation, the x and the y here will always be an x and a y. Okay? The rest of these variables will be replaced with numbers. The h and the k refer to the center of the circle, where the r refers to the radius of the circle. Let's look at how we can apply this formula to a story problem here. So suppose the compression waves of an earthquake travel at a speed of 8 kilometers per second. Find an equation for the set of points that are reached by the compression waves in 7 seconds. Well, they don't say anything here about the center of the circle. So you're going to assume that the center of the circle, if they don't mention it, we can use the origin 0, 0 as our center. In an earthquake, we call the center the epicenter, because that's where the earthquake would have originated from. Now they don't say the radius of a circle is such and such. We have to figure that out. We know that the speed that the compression waves are traveling is 8 kilometers per second. And we want to come up with an equation that would represent the set of points that are reached by the compression waves in 7 seconds. Well, recall from geometry that distance is found by taking, distance is found by taking your rate times your time. Our rate in this case is 8 kilometers. Our time in this case is 7 seconds. So 56 kilometers is our distance. So that's going to be the radius of our circle. So now to come up with our equation, it's going to be x minus h. Well, remember, h and k is the point 0, 0. So x minus 0 is just x, so it'll be x squared, plus y minus k. K is also 0, and y minus 0 would just be y, so we would have y squared, equals your radius squared, so 56 squared. Or, we need to simplify this. 56 squared, if you do that on your calculator, you get 3,136. There's your answer. I want you guys to try this one on your own. Suppose a pebble is dropped in still water, starts a series of ripples that radiate outward at a speed of 2 meters per second. Find an equation for the location of points in the first ripple in 5 seconds. So once you guys work that one out, it's very similar to the one that we just did. So you can pause the video and hit play when you're ready to check to see if you got the right answer. Okay, so here's what you should have done. We should have used, again, our origin is going to be at the point 0, 0. And to find the radius of the circle, we know that it's traveling at a rate, the ripples are traveling at a rate of 2 meters per second for a total of 5 seconds. So your radius is your distance, is going to be found by taking the 2 times the 5, which would be 10 meters. So our equation is going to be, well, x minus 0 is x again, so it'll be x squared, plus y minus 0 would just be y again, so it'll be y squared, equals your radius squared, and 10 squared is 100. So this would be your answer. Pretty easy problem there. Let's look at some situations where we have a center that's not at 0, 0. Like in this one, they give us the information, we just need to find the equation. So for this one, it's going to be x minus, so again, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals your radius squared. So it's going to be x minus the h is 12 squared plus y minus your k, which is 17 halves, squared equals your radius, and our radius is 27 halves. So that'll be squared. Now, we do not have to expand this out for these problems. We can leave these as x minus 12 squared and y minus 17 halves squared. You can leave it like that. But if we have just an integer being squared, or a number being squared, we need to simplify that. Now, the way that we would do this, you can leave it as a fraction, is we would square, remember this is from back in chapter 7 or 8, when we talked about exponents, we square the numerator and square the denominator. So if I square 27, that gives me 729. And when I square the 2, you get 4. So we can leave it like this. Be your answer. So pretty easy. We'll skip the next one. Let's go to another example. This time they give us the equation of a circle. We need to find the center and the radius of this circle. Well, remember the equation is x minus h squared plus y minus, that minus got lost there for some reason, y minus k squared equals your radius squared. So for this one, we would say that the center, since the formula is x minus h and I have a plus here, that tells me that the x value of our center is at -4. So in other words, you just always take the opposite of whatever we have here in parentheses with the x and the opposite of what's happening with the y. So for the next one we have a -5, so the opposite of that would be a +5. Because if I think about it, if I put -4 in here, x minus -4 gives me x plus 4. And if I put 5 in here, y minus 5 would give me y minus 5. And going over here, we would just take the square root of 49 to figure out what r is. So the radius would be at 7. And that would be your answer. Now it says to graph the circle. In your assignment, you'd be given graph papers, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, 5. That should be good enough. Okay, so we're going to graph our centers at the point -4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like it'd be right about there. And our radius is 7. Now here's how we do that. That means that going out every direction from the center, we would go out 7 units. Well, it's kind of hard to do at an angle, but it's easy to do going straight up or straight down. I think I'm going to need a couple more dash marks here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the right 7 units from the center, not from the origin down here, but from the center of our circle. Go to the right 7 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be right about there. We're going to go down 7 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be right about here. Go to the left 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right about there. And then go up 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Be right about there. Now granted, I don't have graph paper, so looks like my dash marks are a little bit more spread out on the other part. But then you just do your best to draw a circle. Don't draw a diamond. It's not a diamond. Remember, it's a circle that's going to go through these 4 points. You want to make sure that those 4 points are very specific, because chances are, when you're doing this on your own, it's going to be hard to get a real perfect circle. So if I just see a circle drawn at random, and if I don't see these specific 4 points, I'm just going to assume that maybe you saw what someone else had and just copied what they had. So make sure that you have those specific points. Now it says what transformation or what translation maps a circle with equation x squared plus y squared equals 49 onto the circle you drew? Well, in this equation, the center is at the point 0, 0, and it has the same radius. So it would be the exact same shape of the circle, but this one here would be graphed with the center at the origin. So what happened going from the center at the origin to the center that we had is your graph moved over 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left, so that's -4, and it moved up 5 units. So we would say it's a translation of -4, 5. Why don't you guys try this one on your own? It says find the center and radius of the circle with this equation. And for some reason this didn't print out correctly. For some reason the minuses got lost. That's an x minus 7 being squared plus y plus 8 being squared equals 121. So find the center and the radius, then graph it, and then figure out what translation we would map there, or we would use to map that equation. Okay, so pause the video and hit play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, the center for this one, you should have gotten as 7, negative 8, and the radius you should have gotten as 11. When you go to graph the circle, this one I'm going to count by twos. So the center is at 7, negative 8, so 2, 4, 6, so 7 would be right about there. And negative 8 would be 2, 4, 6, 8, so it'd be, the center is going to be about right there. And my radius is 11, so I'm going to go up 11 units, so remember I'm counting by twos here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, we'll say is about here, so that's going to be the top of my circle. And going to the right, now remember the hard part here is my center is in between the dash marks. So I'm going to go to the right 11. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 would be right here. And then go to the left 11. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 would be right here. And then go down 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 would be about right there. But again, you can see my dash marks got kind of spread out there at the bottom, but you get the idea. So your circle would look something like that. And then for part C, when it says what translation would map when the center is at 0, 0 to the circle that we have here, well, you're going to move it to the right 7 units and move it down 8 units. So it'll be a translation of 7, negative 8 for your translation for part C. Well, that's actually where we're going to end this video, because what we've talked about so far, that's what you need to know for your assignment for today. So the key thing is to remember this formula, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. We can use that to find the equation of a circle, or if we're given that, an equation of a circle in this form, we can use it to find the center and the radius. So with that, good luck on your assignment.